1959, a year to remember. On January 1st, Cuban President Batista resigned and fled into exile as the revolutionary Fidel Castro took Havana by storm.
Castro rode in glory into Havana. Cubans, hundreds of thousands of them, gave him a hero's welcome.
The following year, one of his former comrades stated that Castro won't last 6 months. Apparently, Fidel didn't get that memo. Back at home, a more diminutive revolutionary took our nation's marketplace by storm.
Barbie, you're beautiful.
Nearly 500,000 of these adult-like fashion dolls were purchased for young girls across the nation.
And all the gadgets gals adore.
Barbie dressed for swimming fun is only $3.
Older girls may not have felt so lucky.
8 or 9 girls work for George. And Betty here is what you might call the leader of the group. A little short on personality, maybe, but darned efficient.
But post-war technology was making its mark. A revolution came to the office with the introduction of the Xerox 914, the first plain paper copier.
Well, I just thought it would save time for everyone.
1959 saw our flag change for the first time in 47 years, as Alaska and Hawaii became the 49th and 50th states.
Well, that'll be the day when you say goodbye.
In the state of Iowa, a small plane crashed into a snowy farm field, killing the pilot and his young passengers.
That'll be the day when I die.
Some would call it the day the music died. But meanwhile, in Liverpool, England, 3 other lads struggling in a band called the Quarrymen were about to transform themselves into a new band. Soon they would kick off the British invasion, with a little help from Ed Sullivan. Until that happened, Johnny Horton had something to say about the British during his 1959 appearance on The Sullivan Show.
They caught the bloody British in a town in New Orleans. We filled his head with cannonballs, powdered his behind. And when we touched the powder off, the geezer lost his mind. We fired our guns and the British.
Big fads in 1959 included students stuffing themselves into phone booths, and this simple plastic hoop, which became the rage in the U.S. and countries abroad.
Hola, 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 ho. Bokele, jottete. Hola, 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 ho.
And the jet age was ushered in with the first domestic flights of the new Boeing 707.
Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard the spacious cabin, attractively decorated, air-conditioned but draft-free.
Following Sputnik 2 years earlier, the Soviets showed off once again as their Luna spacecraft reached the moon and took the first photos of its far side. Then Vice President Nixon showed off America's latest television capabilities while in the USSR to visit our exhibit at a Moscow trade fair.
And I would promise you that every word that you have said here will be reported in the United States, and they will see you say it on television.
In typical fashion, Nikita wasn't overly impressed.
Says Mr. Key, the Soviet will overtake America and then wave bye-bye.
Afterwards, Khrushchev visited the U.S. and Poland, even donning this peculiar hat. But his belligerent rhetoric at the UN General Assembly reminded the world that the Cold War could still get very hot.
If there is a warning, you will hear it before the bomb explodes. It's a bomb. Duck and cover. Paul and Patty know what to do. Duck and cover. Duck and cover.
In spite of the nuclear threat, there were other pressing issues on the minds of Americans.
You know what things cost today. High prices are just driving me crazy.
Yes, my Mamie gets after me about the high cost of living. It's another reason why I say it's time for a change. Time to get back to an honest dollar and an honest dollar.
And what were those crazy high prices? A gallon of gasoline cost 25 cents. A new car was around $2,200. And a new house? You could buy one for as little as $12,000. If you were in the market for a car, a brand new model had just been introduced the year before.
The man behind the wheel is Tom McCahill, the nation's leading automotive expert. This is a test car. Has it got guts? Will it corner? Is it safe? Mr. McCahill, I'd like your first-hand reactions.
I like your new car. I'd buy one. And I think it'll catch on in a big way.
This car even had its own TV show.
Bing Crosby, Frank Sinatra, Louis Armstrong.
1 year later, the show and the car were gone for good. This movie was much more successful. And Alfred Hitchcock released his latest thriller. It would prove to be one of the great movie classics.
Light up a lucky.
It's light up time.
Be happy.
Man, that's smoking enjoyment. To come out of a good movie and light up a lucky.
Taste that you like. Light up a lucky strike.
You'll wonder where the yellow went when you brush your teeth with Pepsodent.
Sales of television sets continued to boom in 1959. If you watched baseball on TV in '59, you might have seen this man, and you might have seen the Chicago White Sox win their first league pennant in 40 years, advancing to the World Series. Unfortunately, the Sox lost the series in 6 games to the LA Dodgers.
I'm gonna kill you, Marshal.
In prime time, westerns continued to dominate the TV ratings. In fact, the 3 most popular shows were westerns, with this perennial favorite on top.
Gunsmoke.
But TV audiences were treated to something completely different from the westerns in the fall of '59, when famed screenwriter Rod Serling introduced his new series.
You're traveling through another dimension. A dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind. A journey into a wondrous land whose boundaries are that of imagination. That's the signpost up ahead. Your next stop, the Twilight Zone. For your perusal, an isolated region out beyond the big city, a bizarre little village split by an historically dangerous stretch of railroad tracks. And curiously, not far from these dangerous tracks, nearly 200 pirates are graduating from the local high school. Question: who are these pirates? What are they doing in high school? Even more curiously, what will be their fate half a century from now?
Congratulations to all 1959 Palatine High School graduates on their 50th anniversary.
Arr!